Let's go to the Duke's Mayo Classic, Dan. Saturday night, 7:30, ABC. This is the biggin. This is the biggin. Georgia Bulldogs, 3.5-point dog against the Clemson Tigers. This is the biggest game on each of their schedules. They're playing it at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. One of the things that I just got to get off my chest here. All too often, Dan, I'll make a comment on an episode and I'll just discard it. And that's mostly because I have the memory of a goldfish, to use a Ted Lasso reference of my own. But it's just hard to put your neck out there sometimes because it takes gumption. It takes cojones.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm on the record with Georgia. I'm very bullish on Georgia this year. I've got them winning the SEC. I've got them going to the playoffs. So when we come to a point in time like this, I could either hedge and say, they could lose. They could still get all that stuff. This game, it's important to just not get blown out. Or I could finally put on the big boy pants, Dan, and I could lock it up.
Lock of the week.
Wow.
Let's go. I like the Dogs here. I like them outright. I have had my Georgia outright bet logged into the actual real betting system for about a month now. I believe in JT Daniels at quarterback. I think he's the better quarterback in this game. I think Georgia's better on offense at every position, maybe outside of wide receiver. I love their front seven. If Clemson's got the best defensive line in the country, Georgia's 2. So I love this team. I love this defense. The main question is whether Georgia can stop the pass, which I'm sure you're going to get into. But I am all in on Georgia, not just in this game, but really all season long. So give me the Dogs outright. Let's lock it up.
I've been leaning Georgia for quite some time, and now I like Clemson.
Because of me?
No, not because of you. Because I sat and I meditated on these games yesterday and just tried to visualize what is the most realistic thing that can happen in my brain and what I value going into a year in which, again, we do not have data points. It's week 1. So it's a matter of sort of, at this point, blind trust that teams are going to grow on a realistic level, or that quarterbacks, what we've seen from quarterbacks is what we're going to get from quarterbacks in week 1, which is almost never the case. You know, guys, especially when you're playing an opponent of, you know, these teams' calibers. Is that a word? Calibers? Of these teams' caliber. That it's going to be an exercise on preparation, not shooting yourself in the foot, keeping drives, smart play calling. Like you're reaching into thin air in a little bit. You're reaching into the ether when you have two teams as closely matched as these two. What I trust here is Clemson and the Clemson staff, which has had tremendous continuity, and Dabo Sweeney, obviously. There's a track record in these games. There's a track record of preparation and finding a way to pull out these games or to even win these games comfortably. Kirby Smart's best wins right now are what? Those Notre Dame games, one of those Florida wins maybe, and the double overtime win against Oklahoma, right?
Okay.
They're just, in terms of getting everybody on the same page, JT Daniels' best win, either as a college quarterback or as a Georgia quarterback, is Cincinnati in the bowl game. Yes?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Continue.
No, I'm asking. I don't know if I'm wrong. I don't know if you consider the Mississippi State game or the Mizzou, whatever it is. JT Daniels is very, very good. I just think organizationally right now, in terms of preparing for a game with very little to go on, and with Georgia's specific injuries, George Pickens, and they're short at tight end. Like, they're just issues. I think I trust this Clemson staff getting DJU ready to win this game on a neutral field because of this track record. I know pass catching is also sort of up in the air. Justin Ross coming back from injury, but who are the other guys that step up as well? Right. No Travis Etienne home runs to lean on and gravity to take advantage of. I get all of that. But in a toss-up situation, a 3-point game on a neutral field, my tie is going to the guy and the staff that has proven that they can pull out a game like this. So I'm going Clemson to win by a touchdown.
I'm a little disappointed with all this staff talk that you didn't pluralize it and go stavs.
Stavs? Like everybody knows the plural of staff is stavs. STALVES. Don't look it up.
I think everything that you said is accurate. And I have the same questions about Georgia. I just think
that's what we have to go on in week one.
They're
track
so
record,
freaking
right?
loaded. They're so freaking loaded.
Totally.
It's very easy to look at their defense and say, that defense can't be as good as Clemson's. Clemson returns more. They've got more highly touted talent along the front seven. I don't know if that's true. Clemson definitely brings back more, but I just think Georgia's so good in that front seven. Last year, one of the things that they were very good at was getting pressure without blitzing. And I think that could really be a useful tool in this game against DJU, because one of the things Clemson wants to improve upon is taking some of those deep shots. They didn't take enough last year. Even with the best quarterback perhaps in program history, they didn't have that guy who could just go up and get it, win the jump balls. I think they're trying to develop that guy this year, whether it's Justin Ross or Joseph Nagata. Like, they want to do more of that.
Yeah.
And given the fact that the real question mark, if there is one on the Georgia defense, is that secondary, I would expect that we're going to see it. But if Georgia can generate that pressure while playing coverage, especially against not a new quarterback in DJU, but you could argue this is the biggest game he's ever played in.
Oh, of course.
It's a big spot for him. I think that could definitely work to Georgia's advantage. And that's why I like him outright. For what it's worth, by the way, a little bit more money coming in on Clemson than the Georgia Bulldogs, at least at time of recording. Obviously, that could change, but it feels like everybody is looking at this one as if it's a bit of a coin flip. It's going to be a good game. There's a reason it's the best game of the weekend.
Can I give you another slight margin that it appeals to me emotionally with this matchup? And it's because I've been hurt before, Ty. I have been hurt before, like we all have been. The two biggest Oregon games of the past decade involve the Ducks losing to giant mobile quarterbacks who, when you think they are tied up, when you think you have them, when you think they're sacked on 3rd and 3, they manage to spin out of something and lunge forward and secure a first down. Which one of these quarterbacks is more capable in this tight-knit game of doing that? It's DJU. So that is why when I see this as sort of a tie, I think to myself, man, Georgia has Clemson's receivers locked up on 3rd and 5. DJU is suddenly rolling out and has the angle. Though, to me, that's kind of a difference maker. And that was a difference maker with Deshaun Watson, a difference maker with Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
And that just appeals to me emotionally because of the pain I've suffered. Cardale Jones and Cam Newton, rough.
Yeah, I mean, DJU's not as mobile as those guys, but your point stands.
He's more mobile than JT Daniels.
He's more mobile than JT Daniels.
He's more likely to turn 3rd and 5s to an angle to get that first down at the 47.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. So we disagree, Dan. We disagree.
Hey, thanks for watching. Consider, if you haven't, subscribing to the channel and hitting that little bell to be alerted, and listening to the podcast at solidverbal.com.